Hi everyone, welcome to another session of Niger TV News Scope. My name is Olatunde MD, and my co-hostess, is the one and only Jane. Finish
Jane
up this.
Rogers.
Yeah, you're supposed to roll over.
Jane
Uh,
Rogers, so good to be here.
Okay, hi Jane. Anyway, it's good to have you again today. So, tell me how is the rain been in Nigeria? It looks like the weather is absolutely atrocious today. I mean, it's a horrible weather. We thank God for it, but I mean, how did you cope with that weather? I mean, that's one of the first things that we need to say. I mean, what happened? It's
It's been
everywhere.
raining, I think, last night.
Wow.
And yes, interestingly, we've not had, rain, sorry, I beg your pardon, for the past 3 weeks. Yes,
Wow.
for the
Okay.
past 3 weeks.
So you are making up
And
for lost time.
then, exactly, it started
Okay.
last night through the whole day. I couldn't even
Wow.
go out. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, well, I'm sure there's a lot of good news. Even though everything is looking very down, looking very. How can I put it? Like it's typical British weather. So you need to see our weather down here today. It's not something. Honestly, at one time I'm thinking of man, I just wish I was just in Lagos now, saying some serious songs. But when I look at the weather itself, and I was looking at some live stream online, I just couldn't believe that. I'm like, look, you know what? I think I would rather be, rather be on the, I would still rather be in the UK for now. In comparison, because it was wet. Of course, there was a bit of rain here
Yeah.
as well, but there was just something about that
Plus,
Niger own. It was just really bad. It was
I
really
learned
bad.
it flooded in Ikorodu.
Okay, wow. I
It
can just
flooded in Ikorodu.
really wow. What I
Yeah.
really saw there. I mean, to be quite honest, I think it's not something I will really, really want to get into. Quite frankly, I'm not looking at that. No way. So, well, without too much ado, I just want to talk about some of the stuff that is coming up today. The federal government kind of decided to up their game, so which is looking like like good news, for people who are aspiring to have their own home. So let me just share this very, very quickly. There is a news that the federal government has just recently. I'm sure. Can you see that now? Can you see that on the screen?
It's not displayed here.
Oh, really? Okay. Hang on. My bad. Yeah. Okay. So what we've actually got is that the federal government said we have opened a single-digit mortgage loans for Nigerians. The Ministry of Finance Incorporated says Nigerians have started accessing, affordable long-term mortgage facilities at 9.75%. The mortgage facility extends as long as 20 years, a radical initiative aimed at bridging the country's estimated 20 million units housing gap. The chief executive officer, Dr. Hamstrong Takang, did I say that correctly? Takang. Sounds Chinese. Says several beneficiaries across geopolitical zones have successfully accessed the single digits long term mortgage fund barely 1 month after it was launched. Have you heard about this at all? Did you hear about this?
So I'm shocked to even to stumble on this because I've not heard anybody talking about it and I've not even seen it. But when I saw it, I went to other platform. It was the story came out on it was on Vanguard, it was on Daily Trust. Do
Okay.
you understand? So
Okay.
I was like, oh, okay. But then I think we need to have people, beneficiaries coming to say, yes, we've been able to to assess this mortgage. Do you get? Because it's one thing to make announcement or pronouncement, and then it's the implementation. Because I understand that it can be assessed through fund managers, but
Okay.
then who are fund management institutions? You understand? So
Okay.
this whole thing to be cleared. And what are the other terms? You understand?
Okay.
What are the terms and conditions for this mortgage?
Hmm.
So this is also key, so that the public will get to know. And then, of course, if you're out there and if you're a beneficiary, please, we need you to come on and let us know you have actually benefited.
Okay. Well.
So over to you, Mr.
Okay.
T.
Yeah. Well. Oof. One of the key things is that when you have news like this, I think there should have been something like a sort of awareness campaign, to actually make people
Exactly.
realize. Yeah. Excuse me. It's the mortgage cough. So the truth of the matter is that
Sorry.
the truth
Sorry
of the
about
matter is that thank you. The truth of the matter is that nobody seems to have heard about this. People are not really talking about it out there. Well, at least to the best of my knowledge. So it's really, excuse me, it's really something that should be checked. You could have done a better job promoting this. Every news outlet in Nigeria should be carrying this. Every news media,
true.
every news media, you use influencers, anything, social media. But here we are, we're being told about this, but nobody seems to know about it. I mean, from the face of it, it's a good initiative. It is
Yeah.
something that is supposed to be affordable, to
True.
Nigerians across board. Anybody, that actually wants to use that facilities. Because I think we used to have is it FCMG, federal um sort of I can't remember what it actually stands for, but mortgage bank in Nigeria. We used to have one, but I'm not sure if it was anything remotely close to what we have currently. It's really good, but then I think they should have done a better job. So if anyone out there, you're in Nigeria or anywhere in the world, there's a mortgage. There's the is it it's called Mofi, isn't it? It's actually called Mofi.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yeah. So, by the Ministry of Finance
Yeah.
Incorporated, yeah, says Nigerians have that there's this affordable long-term mortgage of about 20 years, and at 9.75%. So in relation to the country economy, I think it's quite good. So yeah, I think they should have let people know about this. That is what I would say about it. We don't really have much information, and like you rightly said, we don't know those people who have accessed that facility. Apparently, I think it's been on for over
True.
2 months. Over 2 months. The way they used to have these campaigns where you want to meet somebody, they will say, so what do you want to? Can you tell us how? Well, it's supposed to be something private, so it might be difficult asking somebody. So you got a mortgage loan, and in Nigeria, so where a country where we're used to, everything is cash. I bought my house, I built my house. Nobody tells you whether they borrowed the money to build it or in any other way. So yeah, that is what we're actually looking at, and I think it's a good one. So I would say kudos to the federal government, and I hope it is exactly what they've said it is. So unless we hear anything,
Exactly.
unless we hear anything otherwise, absolutely no, no. So we're quite happy with what it is now. So moving swiftly on, we have another horrible news. But when I say another horrible news, what I actually meant is we have a situation whereby this same issue we're getting about security issue in the country is not getting easy at all. It is not. I don't know exactly what is going on. you know I remember that the former head of state, Sonny Abacha, I don't like giving him that accolade because that man, it was really horrible. So I would say the former, so maybe I will address him as the former strong man, by force strong man of Nigeria, Sonny Abacha, because he does not deserve.
Sani Abacha.
Yeah. So it does not, because what that man did to Nigerians. Anyway, that's not the focus of our this. He said if there is an uprising on the country and it's over 24 hours, that actually means that the people
The
in
government has a hand.
has a hand in it for that to be, because I heard some stories not too long ago which has to do with in Zamfara state, where they said they actually have this community organization just like Amoteku in the, in the southwest, and that it was said allegedly that the powers that be in Zamfara state um, kind of stalled, prevented that there was this guy called Taji, this terrorist called Taji, that they were at the point where they were going to, they've killed a lot of his men, and they were about on the point of really sort of surrounding him and, be able to capture him or rather kill him. And it said there was word that they didn't get any support from the mainstream security services. This is online, so it's not me saying what I think happened. you know. And the guy actually came, I think, some few days ago. There's a gentleman there. So unfortunately, I don't have that information. But what he actually said was that he used to be part of the community. He was part of the community leadership, leading that private security initiative in Zamfara. So, and he was actually saying that they were prevented. There was no support from the mainstream uh, military services, that were there, and that so they couldn't do anything, and they had to back off. So we've had so many other stories like this, and we're thinking, what the heck is going on? Why do we actually have this? Why do we have this sort of situation whereby it's the same narrative constantly, same narrative. Look at it here. It says bandit lodge fresh attack on Zamfara community, abduct 23 women. At least 23 women have been abducted by armed bandits in Moriki town, located in Zumi, local government area of Zamfara. According to counterinsurgency publication, Zagazola Makama, the victims were taken while collecting firewood on the outskirts of the community around 1:30 p.m. on August 2nd, just 2 days ago. The attacker reportedly headed the woman to an unknown location, sparking concern among residents, prompting immediate security response. Troops under Operation Fasamiana, alongside local vigilante groups and other security agencies, have commenced a coordinated search and rescue mission aimed at securing the women's safe return and apprehending the perpetrators. This incident comes amid rising cases of kidnapping in the region. On July 27th, 33 out of 50 kidnapped persons were reportedly killed. You know, in Banga Town, Kaura, Namuda local government area, even after a 50 million ransom was paid. The atrocity drew international condemnation, where the United Kingdom Deputy High Commission to Nigeria, Jill Lever, calling it an unspeakable crime. Authorities in Zamfara are yet to issue an official statement, but pressure is mounting for urgent action to address the growing insecurity in the states. This is what we are talking about. These guys are going around with impunity, doing all this sort of, creating havoc. And one of the things that they actually say that you don't do in a kidnapping situation is that you never pay ransom. I understand if you are the one that is there, like people will say, and they have a point. But the downside to it is that the moment you start paying ransom, you insensitize the situation. Now, across the country, now where everybody, all sorts of things. If people are broke now, they will just decide to just, can we stroll down? It's a bit like somebody that wants to fish now. You just stroll down to the road, carrying maybe a fake gun or whatever it is, block the road, then terrorize the people. And I'm just thinking that our people are just being left totally helpless. They are like sheep caught in the headlights, in the nighttime, with animals, on the road. If you see an animal that's on the road, if you actually put the searchlight on them, they freeze. They just stay there, and they are easy picking. So I don't know why we are allowing this to happen, because I still look. If there's no shame in saying that we need help, there's no
Sure.
shame in saying that. So why can't we just go outside and just ask for help? There are lots of countries that are out there that are
Yes,
ready to
yes,
help. You know, okay, look at all these women now. What happened? Even when they pay, so what's the point in paying the ransom? Because when you pay the ransom, at the end of the day, they are still killed. So what's the point? Look at the one we're talking about during our program in the Big Mike. You know, remember when we were talking about that? We actually spoke about the guy the in Anambra State, the guy that was kidnapped, the
Yes.
entrepreneur. Yeah,
Despite,
the fish.
despite the payment.
The same thing. They paid.
So,
Did that stop anything? No. So why pay? What
okay,
I
so
would
let me
advise.
quickly read some reactions. Okay, go ahead, Sam.
No, no, no. It's okay. So I mean, you just tell me. I mean, what are your
Okay, so
thoughts?
let me quickly read some of the reactions of the public on this. So when they decide to stop this when would they decide to stop this madness? They should let people, okay, when they decide to stop this madness, they should let people know. Okay, this is another one. When will this banditry stop? It's been on for too long, and that is it.
Hmm.
So an attack on bandit is an attack on the north. Can you imagine?
You see that?
You can imagine. So say, okay, this one said, now wow, you won't see Nigerian army here, but if it's student protesting or a fight between market women, you see one battalion of army there, and that's true. If it's
I don't know.
protest,
I don't know. I don't
you
really know
know,
about that. But then,
they want to
people
come
are.
to show muscles.
Mm. It's really disheartening. I mean, what are the people supposed to do? So people are just supposed to just hang around there and just. I mean, come on. It's way too much. People are
Yeah,
fighting. They are fighting hunger in the land. Then now we now have this. I mean, this thing has been going on, and I believe that there's a lot that is actually happening that we don't know. Truly, to be quite frank, I think some of the the security services. Look, there has been great efforts on their side. I won't say there's not been any. There has been, but you see, this
true.
thing is more complex. You see, they are inside. They are what I call fifth column. We all know what fifth column is. There are insiders within this, who actually, there are some rogue elements within the security services as well, who puts at risk the majority of their colleagues who are committed to fighting, this banditry, kidnapping, and all. But unfortunately, but why is it that we are? I mean, there have been recorded successes, but if you look at it, right, it just seems as if they are fighting a useless battle. A lot of our young men are actually dying because of this. There are a lot of young military soldiers, soldiers, police, and everything. So I don't know. Look, what I just believe is that there needs to be a sort of strategy whereby they can sort of fish out the insiders, the fifth column within the military, whether it's the police force or anything. They need to, because they are really hampering and putting at risk, yeah, putting at risk the rest of those who are actually committed. They are. I mean, I can just imagine being being a soldier. Now you are going out somewhere. They've given them information. A lot of
True.
things are actually happening. A lot of things there. And when these people are arrested, mostly they are then released again. Or sometimes they say there is a special program. What kind of rubbish program is that? I'm sorry, it's not working. These guys, they say that, they have this reprogramming, where they said they are now, that they are sorry, that they are very sorry, that yes, they did what they did, but they are now sorry. But why would you? Because I've heard cases whereby they've been, well, allegedly put within this the military. How would you do that? Why would somebody? Why? Because normally, to even go into the military, to go anything security services, you have security checks. Even to be a security guard, they will do security check on you. So why would you take somebody that is a known, former terrorist, to allow that person? And you know what they always do at the end of the day? They always go back, make a mockery of all the.
Definitely, yes. So
They make a
it's kind
mockery of
of,
them.
it seems as if some of them even, disguise so that they can get more information on probably the strategies. You understand? And then go back
Hmm.
to disclose these information to their colleagues.
We actually saw one like that that actually
Another
happened in
concern I have is that most in most cases, before you have or experience such attacks, there is usually like this bandit usually send like a signal or a message to the community. And I'm sure, on the other hand, this community get to inform the security agencies. So how come they don't really, put in place measures, to address or to counter attack these people? Do you understand? So
I
because
get you.
I think at some point, yes, at some point, there was a time we went to a community in the north, and the king was telling us that most times before they come to those communities, they send them letters. So because for them to come and
Oh,
adopt 23 women, they won't just come like that.
how did they get
There
him?
should be a sort of, in fact, they need to send signals.
Man. So to be quite honest, right?
And again,
I think
these governors need to rise to their primary responsibility. So because I don't know,
hmm.
this thing is really heartbreaking, honestly.
It is. It is. It's like you rightly said. You know. I mean, I have some comments here. Somebody said from all team. He said, Nigeria with bandits." Somebody said, "Well, I don't know." Somebody said, "I don't want to talk about bandits." Well, anyway, um, I think we need to sort of invite at some one of our program. We need to see if we can bring in a security, maybe if a
True.
former security advisor or somebody that's had encounter, they can give us, a deeper dive into maybe some of the things. Maybe we're just beating around the bush, or maybe we are backing up
Exactly.
the wrong tree. I don't know. But with what we've seen, this is the news. Abducted 23 women in Zamfara. Why is Zamfara such a target? It's not just Zamfara, obviously, but many other places. Enough
Maiduguri,
is
yes.
enough.
Another
Enough
state,
is
just
enough. Right now, I would have felt that there will be a sort of this educative campaign where they will let Nigeria, if you are traveling, what are the measures? So we want to bring somebody in to come and talk. In fact, that's what we want to do. We're not going. We can't do the security service job for them. We can only, come out and talk about it and try and make people be aware. More sensitize people, because so that it doesn't become business as usual. Like I say, they kidnap somebody. Well, I hope they are okay. Oh. So what's happening? So we're going out next weekend, as if it's normal. No, we must never allow it to be normal. It must never be
yeah.
allowed to be normal. This is it's crazy. It is mad. It is not acceptable in any shape or form, and we have to actually, we have to ask those in leadership to give account. They are working for Nigerians regardless of whether they are carrying soldiers and beating civilians with koboko. It doesn't matter. If you decide to actually arrogate to yourself and say that you put yourself, because most of our leaders are, they put themselves there. That's the truth. They put themselves there, and sometimes it's the tribe that put themselves there. In Yoruba they say, "Omowale Joshe," means that now our picking make you do this, whether it's doing a good job or not, as long as it's our picking. You know, we've seen it. Is that not true? So people in leadership, sometimes are so disconnected, from the community in which they say they actually they have authority over, or that they govern. They are totally, only very few governors that I know are very said, like Oyebanji in Ekiti State. I know that guy loves is I know he loves the people, because he actually gets involved. He actively gets involved. He actively gets involved. When there was a fire, this in there in one of the places there, that a firefighter got injured, the governor, this governor Oyebanji, went down to the guy's place. He showed concern. Whenever there are issues as well. I have someone here who's making a comment here. It's Latif Ade Dimeji. Thank you for the comment. He says bandits in Nigeria generally refers to armed criminal groups involved in kidnapping, armed robbery, cattle rustling, and other violent crimes. These groups are especially active in the northwest and some part of the north central region of Nigeria. Thank you for that. That's what actually giving us some ideas that banditry is more common in the north than in southwest, much more common.
True.
And I think it's because in the southwest area, there's this concerted effort, that Amotekun is really taking it seriously. Honestly, kudos to them, and of course, other security services there, and I think the government in those areas are not taking it lying down, and we are seeing how things are actually progressing, But in the north, it just seems as if we don't even know who is who. We don't know who is who. So we sometimes shows that we have some principal actors within government who are who are actually involved. Because when Buhari was in government, the Dubai government actually sent names of those in government who were complicit in this. But the Buhari government never did what? They never released anything. Why? you know this is somebody that said, this is the president that said it does not belong to anybody, nobody can hold him to round, that sort of thing. But unfortunately, when it actually was time for him to stand up and be counted, he wasn't there. Nigerians actually voted him in, thinking it was going to be very strict, very this and that. But it was not, in my own view, it was a northern governor, northern president. you know he was a northern president. That was the way I saw it. The composition of those in his government actually reflected that. Look at the Security Council that he actually had there. It's everybody that was there was a northerner, other than the vice president that was there then, that's from the southwest. We're not playing we're not playing all those sort of tribal sentiments. But for if when we say federal republic, it must reflect the character in everything that is being done. Unfortunately, is that is not being done. So anyway, well, that I don't have anything else to say that other than it is these poor souls who are at the mercy of the negligence, of should I say the government, because right now Zamfara should not be going through. They've had
I think there should be some sort of replacement, whereby any governor, any state that
Mm.
experience high security concern, you understand, or challenges should be replaced. That way, maybe they will want to take a drastic measure in addressing such situation because
if
it's really,
we
you know,
need state of emergency, Zamfara is a it has all the
mm,
attributes that is needed to be a state that is actually placed under emergency, a state of emergency. That is just what it is. Because it's just too much. Several states in the north needs to go under as well. Because this is gotten out of hand. Seriously, it's
and
gotten
I
out.
don't know why we don't seem to have so many women out there, condemning this kidnapping.
Well,
Because there's more to this. Some of these women would even be subjected to, rape
no,
and all of that.
Jane,
So,
you should actually have more idea because you are from Southern Kaduna, and I know that with Southern Kaduna have been at the brunt of, especially with the last with your last governor. That guy hates Southern Kaduna. Is it El Rufai, isn't it? He hates South. Yeah. So a country where people do things negatively and they are not being taken into account. So he's still going out saying that he's one of the savior of Nigeria. He's still going around, is he not? Yeah. So he did it, he got away with it, and he doesn't care because you know what? They are untouchable. That's what they believe anyway. So I mean, quite frankly, is it that women in the north don't like talking? Please tell me, because you are from the north,
no,
so you should.
when during the Southern Kaduna killing, you saw a lot of women. Some even went on the street naked. They were protesting. Do you understand? In
Okay.
fact, El-Rufai at that point was even using the security to harass them from protesting. So
Hmm.
at Kaduna, there was no even demonstration. Some of us that were protesting were doing it in Abuja, and then somewhere around the Kafanchan, where we have the what do you call it, where it's highly dominated by the Christians. So those are the areas that people can, freely demonstrate. But any other places, no. So
Wow.
aside that, what other measures do you understand should
Hmm.
we adopt? Except maybe, how do I call it? Personally, you use what do you call, you devise measures to be security conscious.
Wow.
Because whether you like it or not, yes, sometimes they write they write threat letters, to communities, and then with that, community people can just decide to look for nearby communities to go and hide. But aside that, we've been clamoring for community policing, but nothing has been done. And I'm
Wow.
sure, and I want to say that we should be able to take the bull by the horn, by implementing or by taking action as regards this, because Amotekun is doing well in Lagos. So why can't we have the Amotekun too?
We,
Our own
we don't have
Amotekun.
Amoteku in Lagos. Amoteku is not in Lagos.
We
Amoteku is
have
in.
Amotekun in what do you call it? Oworo.
But me, I didn't know about
Yes,
that. Really?
we have
Mm,
Amotekun in Lagos, sir. We have them
okay.
in Oworo.
Okay.
Yee, my friend.
Wow. I didn't know about that too. I'm just hearing this for the first time. So I mean, it's rather it's rather sad. Honestly, I really feel for those who are victims of these dastardly acts. These people have issues and they should be dealt with terribly. Honestly, we can't allow people. People are facing all sorts of challenges, at all fronts, and yet, we are not adding this to the mix. Well, moving swiftly on, Jane, for whatever, I think there's been some. She must be having some issues with her camera. So it's rather sad, really. It's rather sad that we're having all this sort of situation happening in the country there. So, well, moving swiftly on, I think we have another. Um, we have one last. Yeah, we actually have this point that we want to talk about. So this has to do with this is a very sad one, quite frankly. It's rather unfortunate, where you have a situation where somebody kills themselves because their other half, a man, is reported to have actually unalive himself because the wife went and shared herself with another man. That's putting it mildly. Let me put it this way. Right. So it says man unalive himself over wife's alleged infidelity in Imo. I have to be careful what I say because we're on Facebook and YouTube. When they hear those words, you can get kicked out. So a man identified as Reginald from Lawa in Ogbaku, Umbaitoli local government area of Imo State on Sunday committed suicide over alleged infidelity act of his wife. Residents of Lawa community woke up to see the dangling body of Reginald on Sunday in the premises of his wife's alleged lover, Okachuku. Village sources who reached out to NC on Facebook said Reginald's body was discovered on a tree within Okachuku's compound on a Sunday, a development that has sparked condemnation and anger. A villager who pleaded anonymity said the deceased severally complained about the amorous relationship between his wife and Okachuku, but was rebuffed by his wife. The man narrated, "We woke up there to see the dangling body of Regina in the compound of Okachuku. We had seen him complain about his wife and Okachuku, but nobody knew it should drive him to commit to unalive himself. He has the entire community in confusion because we have not witnessed anything like this in the past," the source said. Effort to get reaction of the spokesperson, Imo State Police Command, DSP Henry Okoye, proved abortive as his phone line was switched off. We've got pictures here, but we're not going to show it. It's sad enough. We're not trying to actually make a storyline out of this. This is it's a terrible thing. It shouldn't, Um, welcome back, Jane. We're talking about the story of the man that unalive himself because
Thank you.
yeah, unalive himself because of the wife went and joined up with somebody else. You know what I mean? So and because of that, he went to the man's house in the compound and then strung himself up. So there's a lot of this thing about this. Yeah, relationships are very complex. where it involves two individuals. And one of the things that we always say about it is that, look, is it actually worth it on unaliving yourself? If somebody, what you can't, for God Himself that made us, He's asked the question, show me your left hand, show me your right hand, you know. And unfortunately, God doesn't force anybody to do anything. If not, people will not be doing wrong things. But because there is a choice, we are a spiritual being that lives in a fleshy, earthly body. So we have been given the gift to make of choice to decide whether to go or not to go. So if somebody wants to leave, you can't stop them. If somebody wants to go and do something, maybe is a guy that wants to go and meet another woman, or a woman that wants to go and meet another man, you cannot stop them. You cannot. They will do what they want to do. God Himself does not force anybody, except that I think in cases where I know that God has stopped somebody from doing something silly, you know, where He actually asked a donkey. So He asked a donkey to speak to the guy that, since you are very dumb, that you won't listen, so I will ask a donkey to speak to you. And even at that, He still had a choice. He still had a choice. His donkey, God opened the mouth of this donkey to say, can't you see, why are you trying to? The guy was like, move on now. But in the path was an angel that had a sword. So for this gentleman, I know, I can understand the pain, the disappointment that he actually felt. And apparently, because the villagers, they said the villagers have been, the guy has been complaining to the villagers there that this guy is having, a relationship with his wife. But that didn't stop those two. So if those two individuals, even though it's wrong, they decided to do it, then, why would you then kill yourself over it? If they want to go, they want to. I mean, the wife wants to go, then fine, let her go now. You know, I know that it's not as easy, especially when the emotions are intertwined. I mean, what do you think about this, Jane?
Okay, it's totally wrong for him to have committed suicide because of a relationship. Like you rightly said, I can understand the pain, I can understand the betrayal, the level of betrayal,
Mm.
you know. But of course, I think the worst he would have done was just to leave the marriage, right? Because right now he's no more, and these people will continue the relationship.
In fact, somebody just said the same thing. So somebody just said, "Look, this guy, no matter what he's done now, that the truth of the matter is that he's just simply giving them, you know, I don't know whether it is a crime, but it, it's I wouldn't look. It's it's unfortunate.
Yes, and then
They,
to
they
women,
would not.
there's no justification for infidelity. If you're
Mm,
tired of the marriage, you leave the home.
mm,
It's not by force. You cannot be with a man, with your husband, and then you're going out to cheat on him. That is totally wrong and unacceptable. If you are tired, kindly leave the marriage,
very
because
true.
this thing has been going on. A lot of deceit, it's going on, here and
It,
there.
it's
It's
it's on
actually
it's on both sides, so it's not just one sided. It's both sides.
but like, Mr. T, I'm actually not justifying. I beg your pardon. I'm actually not justifying, but the thing is, it's actually rare for you to find such with women, right? And then we know that it's actually common with men. But when you see women, displaying such, it's actually, very, very unfortunate to see women displaying such. It's irritating.
Hmm. I don't know, but what I would say in this sense is that it's not worth killing yourself over. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. That means that is that the focus of your entire life? Yes, it's true. Your emotions and everything is invested in it. You feel that life if you feel that if one other person disappoints you, then life is not worth living. that person should go and check again whether. I mean, I know that God does not make mistake.
And again, he ended up, killing killing himself in the compound of the alleged.
He wants to make sure that the man. It's it. You see, I'm sorry, but I need to read this. Somebody said in the comment section, he said, "Foolish man, you died because another man was having your wife allegedly. Now you have given them the opportunity to finish off the work they started. Any
I'm
man or
telling you,
woman who dies in this manner is a fool, because it means you don't love your children. That you died
true.
because of a woman. I don't get
Yeah.
it." And he then say, in a poignant way, may his soul rest in peace. Somebody else said maybe God didn't give us all equal sense, or maybe He did, but some refused to make use of it. Committing, this sort of act because of the W you married as wife. This is crazy. You know. Some said there's somebody said. Let me just read this last one. It's very difficult for men to find love or find a wife. When they eventually do, they don't want to lose them. Some had to do terrible things to the ones they claim to love because they can't move on if they lose them. Well, it is still it is not it is not a good excuse. It's not a good excuse. It's really really it's really terrible. There's no there's no need for it. Let's just put it that way. So anyway, well, any last word from you before we call it a day? Hello.
Yes, sir.
I said, is there any word from you? Any last word from you before we?
I think we've talked about a lot of things. So for me, with this last incident, I would just say for men generally, or both ways, if you find yourself or you find your partner cheating on you, just walk away from the marriage. You don't have to kill yourself. And for the women or the other partners, if you see the person cheating, if for any reason you want to cheat, please leave the marriage. So that's basically it. And then for our audience out there, keep doing the right thing. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful night rest.
Okay. Well, Jane, I've said it all. So if you're in a relationship that you think is not giving you what you think you were expecting, I think people have a false sense of what marriage is supposed to be. Everybody feels that is one El Dorado, when butterflies and angels and fairies are flying all over the place, and then you are in this golden cloud. The only time you're in a golden cloud is if the person is dead. That's the only thing you will see that. But even at that, all we're just trying to say is that don't unalive yourself. There are greater things to do on earth that is greater than if somebody betrays you. Fine, take it on the chin. Be the bigger person. Walk away. Some have even dealt with it and they've continued the relationship. So we have different people, different takes. So some are much more emotionally fragile than others. So my prayer is that please, 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 whether you're a man or woman, either way, don't unalive yourself. There's always tomorrow, and tomorrow will always be better. There will always be a better time you know so well, Jane, thank you again for being here, actually joining up with me today. So I just want to say that we're looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. So
Thank
from me and Jane, we'll see you again tomorrow, and we want to say God bless and good night.
you.
Thank
Good
you.
night. Thank you.